If you love Chevys, then this is the place for you. This is the Menards Chevy series, where we tour the country to find the finest race cars and rides that are part of the bow tie breed.
Welcome to the Menards Chevy series here at Maple Grove Raceway in beautiful Reading, Pennsylvania. You know, I don't think I've ever taken the same route to this racetrack twice, especially not this one. It's a beautiful place. It's packed full of the best Chevrolet cars, trucks, and race machines in the country this weekend. Remember that line from the movies, if you build it, they will come? Well, in this case, I'm walking out of the corner, and we're going to tell you if you build it will come, and we'll put your car on television. The Menards Chevy series is here, and you're going to see some of the finest Chevrolets in the country starting right now.
It's a 1972 Chevrolet Chevelle. It's a Pro Touring Custom. Pro Street's fun. I mean, you can drag race and stuff, but this thing here, I mean, it's just, when I saw it, I just fell in love with it. It's a gorgeous car, got an outrageous paint job, it's laser straight, but it's just a lot of fun to drive. It's got a 411 rear in it, Mosier rear, 6-speed Tramac in it, 350 Chevrolet. You look at it and it's kind of looks like it's a small engine, but everything is just like clean in the engine compartment, and that's one of the things that I really liked about it. If you notice, there's no mirrors on the car and the door handles are shaved. In the wheel wells, there are video cameras on both sides, and there's monitors inside the compartment where you can see on the sides of the car. In the back, it has a shaved bumper, C6 Corvette tail lights in it. Lots of fun. I have 3 kids. They finally grew. They're out of the house. It's time for Daddy to get a toy, and this is Daddy's toy. License plate says My IRA, and basically, you know, it's what I can enjoy right now. My retirement. I can drive around in it. You can't drive around in a mutual fund.
Here at the Menards Chevy series, we love variety. We just came off of that gorgeous yellow 72, and now we move to this sinister black 1967 Chevelle, which is actually the winner of our OPGI Original Award this week. And I'm here with the owner of the car, Gino. Man, you have done some really spectacular work on this car. Tell me about how long you had it.
23 years. It was my first car. Bought it in '93, and it's been good ever since.
The thing has obviously evolved to this point, so tell me about the different iterations the car's been through.
It's been through a lot, about 6 different engines, transmissions. I raced it, everything like that. Good friend of mine, Ron Rhodes in Townsend, Delaware, did the paint and body work. So it came a long way in all them years. It was all primered gray and everything. So
it's a very cool piece. You got a nice small block in here. Why did you go with the black paint?
There's nothing other than black, plus it was straight enough.
Yeah, the body and paintwork on the car really is spectacular, and the steel wheels are cool too. Tell me about that decision.
Something to be different. You know, everybody does the derby caps with the trim rings. I just wanted to go old school with the plain, no trim rings with the police caps.
It does really have that kind of street, kind of brawler, tough look to it. Yeah, definitely cool. And I know OPGI was a big part of the inside of the restoration, right?
Yes. Oh, from the carpet to the headliner, the seat covers, everything.
When you had it, was it a daily driver back in your teens and early 20s? I mean, how much time did it spend on the street back then?
Probably the first 3 to 5 years, that was my daily car. And then I started making it faster at the track, and then I had to get something else to drive every day.
Very, very cool, man. And it's a timeless look. 67 Chevelle is a great looking piece. And is that what attracted you to it in the first place? Just you like the body style?
Yes, I've always been a Chevelle person, but the 67 was my favorite year. So when I found one, I got it.
Congratulations on the OPGI Original Award. It was well earned.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
There's more of the Menards Chevy series to come from Maple Grove, including this pristine half-ton pickup. We'll be right back.
This episode of Menards Chevy series is being brought to you by Dustless Blasting. It's the future of surface preparation. Custom Auto Sound, the originator of classic car OEM fit radio since 1977. B&M Racing and Performance, quality performance products that work. And by Evapo-Rust, super safe rust remover.
You know, General Motors and specifically Chevrolet has been making trucks for on the order of 100 years. Everything from small pickup trucks to work trucks to really big pieces like this C65. This is a Grumpy Jenkins former Pro Stock hauler that he dragged several of his cars around during the 1970s. We found a whole bunch of cool trucks to check out here at Maple Grove.
It's a 1934 Chevy pickup truck. I bought the truck about 12 years ago, and it needed some attention, so I did a lot of detail cleaning and stuff like that. And that is Jaguar suspension front and back. It's an old school 350 small block. Drives very nice, it's very smooth. It has air conditioning, it has power windows. What attracted me to the truck is the look, plus the combination between the stripes, the orange and stuff like that. And also some of these trucks, the people they have it, they chop the top. So this is what is called a high boy truck, and you don't see them too often.
Well, this week's LMC Truck Life Award winner is part of one of the hottest trends in hot rodding these days. The 68 to 72 Chevy pickup trucks, especially the half tons, are some of the most popular body styles to modify. And this one is modified. Lonnie Lever Jr., we're here with you today. Tell me about this truck and how you've modified it, because it's gorgeous.
It's a 1972. Got an LS swap 5.3 with a 4L60 tranny. Lowered down 4 and 6. Got 20s all the way around. Bullet grill, custom deluxe interior, altimeter gauges.
You know, it's a long bed body style truck too, which is kind of cool because everyone seems to go crazy about the short beds. But man, for putting stuff in the bed and just kind of cruising around, that nice long wheelbase makes it ride really nice.
Yes, it rides really nice. Put all your stuff in the back, and makes it easy to go, cruise and hang out for the day. And
How often do you like to get the truck out and about?
try almost every weekend.
How long ago did you start it, and then how long ago did you finish it?
Well, it was a partly started project. Started it, I got about 6 years ago. It's been on the road now about 4.5, 5 years.
How about any plans for the future? You just gonna keep it as is, or you always tweaking on stuff?
Thinking about later on actually putting on airbags and maybe putting twin turbos on it.
Yeah, it's a great package. The LMC catalog is packed with parts for these trucks. How many times did you ring them up and score some stuff to bring this truck back to life?
Oh man, it's always trying to get hold of something, but it's always the wish list keeps growing every time you get in the new catalog. But yeah, they're great. Parts are coming and reliable, and quality's there.
Well, it's a fantastic piece, and this week's LMC Truck Life Award winner, Lonnie Lever Jr. He is enjoying this truck, and he's going to continue to enjoy it, long wheelbase and all. Lonnie, thank you very much. You never know what you'll see at a Menards Chevy show, and Maple Grove is no exception. Nearly every model is on display, and one owner is extremely loyal to the bow tie. You don't have to be a rocket surgeon to figure out that the owner of this 1980 El Camino is not exactly the biggest fan of Fords, but what he is a fan of is doing a quality job, and that's why he is this week's Rock Auto Restored Award winner here at Maple Grove. Ron Plummer from Everett, Pennsylvania. This is your 1980 El Camino. Tell me what makes it so special.
I'm the original owner. Ordered it new in 1980 and ran it for 15 years. Was my daily driver 15 years. Moved our complete household with it twice.
Tell me why you optioned the 4-speed in this car, because there's not a lot of these early 80s or late 70s G bodies that have that 4-speed option.
I'm just a standard shift guy. Always have been and always will be. And the salesman tried to talk me out of it, matter of fact, but that's why I ordered. I wanted a 4-speed, yeah.
How many parts did you find on Rock Auto for this car when you were rebuilding it?
I wouldn't have got the transmission back in, wouldn't have been for rockauto.com. Rock Auto Parts, piece I needed to get the tranny back in. Very, very important to me, yeah.
We were talking before we came on about the fact that you optioned the rust proofing on this thing. How much did the rust proofing help to keep this from rotting from the bottom up?
I don't know, but it cost $159. I know the plugs are still in the door from them sticking them wands in, and they rust proof it. I don't know. I'm assuming it helps some, yeah.
The factory 8-track player not only still works, you guys are still listening to tunes on that thing.
Yeah, we listened to the Moody Blues a little bit coming in this morning with the 8-track. Yeah, it's pretty cool, yeah.
And on the level of keeping everything involved with the vehicle, you still have the original cassette that Chevrolet actually gave you with the car, correct?
Yeah, it's sticking in the player now. On shows I take it. It plays up Bonanza music and some of the elevator music I like, yeah.
Well, it is a fantastic piece. You've done a gorgeous job restoring it. The majority of the work done by yourself at home, correct?
Yeah, I had to have a little bit of help with the paint job on it, but other than that, I've done just about everything myself, yes.
Well, thanks, Ron, and it's clear we can say that truly this 1980 El Camino has wiped out the competition here at Maple Grove. The Menards Chevy Series' very own Wayback Machine will take us back to the 1950s when we return to Maple Grove. Welcome back to the Menards Chevy Series. You know, Maple Grove Raceway is packed full of Chevrolets and packed full of a drag racing feel. Stuff like this 1971 Chevy C30 that was the premier way to fly if you're a funny car or super stock racer back in the late 60s or early 70s. One of the tracks that grew those categories exponentially, right here at Maple Grove. We're going to meet up with Lex Dudas, the operator of this racetrack, talk about the event and the track's history.
This year we celebrate our 54th anniversary. The track was opened in 1962 by the Stauffer family, the patriarch Alfred S. Stauffer. Same family, same ownership, 54 years later. This is one of our premier events. We're proud to host this event. We've been doing this for over 30 years, and we'd like to think we're one of the best shows on the circuit. Every year they keep coming back, and we're just very proud to host this event. We really love Pro Mods at Maple Grove. We run this circuit about 3 times a year. They put on a good show. They travel up and down the East Coast, and John Masron and his group really put on a good show for us, and we're proud to have them.
Well, part of the Menards Chevy Series is drag racing, and one of the most popular classes in the drag racing series is True Street. Two of the hardest core guys in True Street. You may have seen them in the pages of Hot Rod Magazine, actually on the cover of Hot Rod Magazine. We got Glenn Hunter and Frank Romano. Glenn, we'll start with you. This red and white 56 Chevy is gnarly. Tell me about it.
Well, it's something I've had since junior high school, pretty much. It was my dad's, and he didn't do anything with it. I stole it from him, and every year I just keep working on it, making it faster and faster, and cooler and faster. And fastest pass was 7:59 at 187 miles an hour.
And how much of this car is steel?
Everything. Everything. 3,700 pounds with me in it.
So we go over to Frank now. Frank, you got the silver 55, gorgeous car, and I believe you don't believe anything with less than 3 pedals is an actual car, correct?
Absolutely not.
You're a 4-speed guy to the core. How quick and fast have you been?
This weekend I went 997, 137 and change. Right now we have a 582 Jericho DR4, weighs about 4,020 pounds.
You guys have known each other a long time. You spend time not only doing the local True Street thing, but obviously you're big guys in the drag week deal. Again, we've seen you on the pages of Hot Rod. Tell me about that trip into Times Square with these two cars.
It was nerve-wracking and awesome at the same time.
You can't impress people in New York City, not very easily anyway, but there was hundreds of people stopped with their cell phones on us at all times. And I saw more New York City in that 2 days than I have in my whole life.
We had a police escort, and then we finally got rid of him. But it was not a problem. The taxi was, the taxi people were respectful of us. It really worked out pretty good. It really did.
A lot of horsepower and a lot of cool cars in the pits here at Maple Grove. These are two of the hardest core guys here with two of the coolest Chevrolets in the pits at Maple Grove. Well, each year at Maple Grove, there's a featured class in the car show area. This year, it happens to be Pro Street. Nothing says Pro Street like a twin-turbo LS motor, but something that maybe doesn't say Pro Street that much. Dude, a 75 Monza Coupe, really?
Something different.
It absolutely is different. Tell me the story behind this car, because it is spectacular.
We started it about 3 or 4 years ago. Started out as just a basic street car wanted to go with stock LS1, small turbos. They didn't last too long, so we just went overboard, I guess you'd say. Right now, it's an LSX 427 from Golden Engine Services in New Hampshire. Magnum 6-speed transmission from RPM Transmission. Ford 9-inch rear, 456s with spool, and Precision 6466 turbos. Pump gas, it makes excess of 822 back wheels. A lot of times they ask me what it is. They say it's a Vega. They think it's a small Malibu. Yeah, I've been called a couple different things.
Well, I'll tell you what, big motor, got the big turbos under the hood, and of course, if you got big turbos, you gotta have big tennis balls. Well, as you can see, there's plenty of hardcore drag races here in Maple Grove down in Pennsylvania, but there's also a Pennsylvania historical connection. This is the car of Grumpy Jenkins, the great racer based out of Malvern, Pennsylvania, and it's the car that won the very first and the second Pro Stock race of the 1970 NHRA season, which happened to just be the first 2 Pro Stock races ever held. It is a fantastic car. We're going to have a lot more coming at you from the Menards Chevy Series here in Maple Grove.
Menards Chevy Series is being brought to you by LMC Truck. LMC Truck has the parts you need to keep them on the road. Z-Max, the one product for your engine, transmission, and fuel system. Stage 8, the world's best locking fastener. And by Cargo Glide, flexible cargo management solutions.
Welcome back to the Menards Chevy Series here at Maple Grove Raceway. We got a lot of Chevy 2s and early Novas here, and there's a lot of differences between the engine combinations. Let's take a look at a couple of our favorites.
We started out with this car and we decided that we wanted to put a big cubic inch motor but small platform. Hence 427 bored stroke. 605 horsepower, normally aspirated, 300 shot of nitrous. I've owned the car since I was 17 years old. It's been many combinations. This is the most horsepower it's ever had. It just wanted to go fast.
So, David, you have some spectacular history in this engine and some spectacular names attached to it.
Grumpy Jenkins is probably one of my longtime heroes. So right before he passed away, I brought the car up to him to sign an autograph, and he suggested that I get the heads done and everything. So I took him off and brought him up to him before he passed. And he did everything. He did the manifold for me. So he did a really nice job. It was an honor meeting that man. They're real modified carburetors, so they're real cross-frame carburetors. They run well. I have no issues with them. Runs smooth all day long. Idles. Doesn't run hot. So take your time to do it right. It'll work. You got to do your homework.
Cadillac CTS-V LSA motor. We wanted drivability, fuel economy, and it makes 500 rear-wheel horsepower to boot. So we had to play with the motor mounts a little bit to get it to fit. Hiding all the wiring was pretty difficult, but for the most part, it basically just dropped right in.
Well, a couple great Novas with a couple really interesting and cool engines, but I'll tell you what, we have a Nova that won one of our very special awards this weekend. Let's take a look at it now. Well, each week we love to celebrate a cool car or truck as the Minty's top dog, and this week we have a dog that can eat. It's the 1966 Chevy 2 of Mike Raup. Mike, this is a spectacular car, and I want to start with the chassis because it's a jungle gym in there.
Yeah, it's a 2.3 box. It's all chrome ollie. A local chassis guy, AutoFab Race Car, did it for me, and turned out really well. Yeah, it's an all aluminum 442 big small block. It's got a Brodax block, 15-to-1 motor, Pro Action 14-degree heads, and it's got two 1050 Da Vinci's on it.
What drove you to build a car to this level? Because sometimes guys will build a Pro Street car and put kind of a mild engine in it. You didn't.
No, I didn't. Ever since I was in high school, I always wanted to do something like this. So finally it came to a point in my life where I could afford to do it, and I did it. So
it is a spectacular piece, and you went with a brilliant bright white. Tell me about the paint choice.
It's a 1968 Rivera white. I've always liked white cars, and every car I have is white. So I went with the white. So.
Well, we saw this car drive into the show this morning. How often do you get out and take it to the ice cream stand?
Not a whole lot. Maybe about 4 or 5 times a year. So.
Has the motor been on the dyno? Do you have any idea what kind of power it makes?
Yes, 850 horsepower. Yes, 670 foot-pounds of torque. The transmission's a turbo 400 with a 4800 stall, and it's got a 4.9-inch with a strange ultra center section with 410 gears.
The billet motor plate, I think, is a very cool addition under the hood. You see a lot of those that are just kind of a piece that's been cut out, but this is billet machine. Talk to me about that.
Local fabricator near my house and all that made that for us and all that. So it's got a front motor plate and a mid plate in it. So it turned out really well.
It is a mean car, a spectacular car, and better than that, it's turned out to a very high level. This week's Minty's Award top dog is 1966 Chevy 2, and Mike Raup, very happy owner. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Now let's check out this nasty Nomad, a grocery getter with a lot of grunt.
A 1955 Chevrolet Nomad. Well, it was one of them cars I bought on eBay, and then when you get it and you sandblast it, there's no car there. So that's what happened. So we had to put floors and quarters. The only thing that was good was the hood, fenders, and doors. And then we bought an Art Morrison chassis, set it on an Art Morrison chassis. Then bought the crate GM LSA supercharged engine. Just a car I always wanted to build. I wanted something I could drive on modern highways at highway speeds and have all the comforts of a new car.
Hey, tell me about that too. Tell me about the seats and kind of the other stuff you got going on inside.
Yeah, it's got heated seats. The seats are out of an SRT8 Dodge Challenger, so we use those seats. It's got cruise control, has backup camera, has satellite GPS, has navigation, has XFM radio. So it's got all the stuff you'd find in a new car: power seats, power windows, air conditioning, tilt wheel. As a kid, I just loved Nomads, and I love 55 Nomads. To me, that's the ultimate Nomad Chevy.
Now let's check out the Duracell Crank It with the Copper Top Award winner.
Well, we run into a lot of cool cars with cool stories on the Menards Chevy Series shows, but I'll tell you what, there are few cars with a cooler story than Pat Easton's 1957 Chevy 150. Pat, spill the beans on how you came to own this thing. It's amazing.
Okay, I found this car sitting in a lot down the street from my high school in 1975. I went in, found out who owned it. They wanted to sell it. The guy said it was his, he wanted to sell it. I said, what do you want for it? He says, well, I won the car in a card game for $75. Just give me the $75 that the guy owed me and take the car. And that's where it all started. So when I bought the car, it was just the body. There was no drivetrain, no interior, the windows were all broke. Little by little, you know, I had to get a job first, of course. I was still in high school. And little by little, started reading books and talking to people at shows, learning mechanics. And through the years, I put the car together, and I got it out, I think, in the mid-'80s, around 84, 85. And I've been enjoying the car ever since. And again, in 2001, I just did a total restoration on it. When I did a total rebuild on a motor, so 350, did it from the bare block. Had it sent out to the machine shop. It's 30 over. It's 10-to-1 compression, aftermarket heads with the Edelbrock dual quads on it with dual 500s. MSD distributor, set of headers, and full exhaust out the back.
And you need some good juice to crank that motor over, don't you?
Yes, I have a Duracell battery, very reliable battery.
Very cool. Well, Pat, congratulations on the DriveDuracell.com award here at Maple Grove. You earned it, and you earned it the hard way. This car you've had for your life up to this point, I have a feeling it's not going anywhere soon.
No, it's not going anywhere. If I haven't sold it by now, it's staying with me for a while.
So that wraps up our time in Reading in the Menards Chevy Series, but keep an eye out for when the series visits a track near you. It's a guaranteed great time. Next week, we'll be roaring into the Rocky Mountains at Vandermeer Raceway. Join us then.